Mike is muted and Michael's hot in my head, but ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are here with another season of Big Juice Championship League. Now, your boy, runner up last season, runner up. That doesn't feel good to say, but it is what it is. We're back again, once again, and this is the team. Pick order went from top left to bottom right. So yeah, let's just talk about it. Zeraora. When we were talking about unbanning it, I immediately started looking at it. Just great speed tier, great ability. It's kind of a plug and play mon. You can pretty much put it on any team, and I knew I could find something to like work around with. Because again, Volt Absorb really good, has amazing coverage, and I knew it would give me a Terra option if I couldn't think of anything else. Not the greatest Terra option because again his coverage is so good, it's almost like wasting it, but I knew it would be something safe, something that I could definitely build a good team around. So I was like, you know what, let me grab Zeraora. I think other people will be looking at the Gen 9 mons anyway, so felt pretty safe on that. And next up was supposed to be I guess I should go over the nicknames as they go along as well. Zeraora's nickname will be R34 for the season. R34. That's what we're going with. That's gonna be his name. Next up, I really wanted Zygarde 50% because I knew that if I got Terra Ground with 1,000 arrows or 1,000 waves, I'd pretty much just be super safe and just win like every game. It's such a broken ass move with a dumbass mechanic that I was like, this is what I have to do. Unfortunately, Noah had the same idea and he took it from me I think it was like 2 or 3 picks in round 1 after I got Zeraora. So very, very tough, but I knew that I could get Garchomp. I knew that people weren't really going to be looking at it. Sorry. I knew people weren't going to be really looking at Garchomp because of, again, all the new mons, all the toys to play with. So I was like, you know what, let me grab Garchomp. He got a super big buff this gen with getting access to spikes now. So, I mean, Gen 8, he got Scale Shot. Gen 9, he got spikes. So, he can be super offensive, super defensive. I preserved the Ground Dragon that I lost in Zygarde, and really the difference is that Garchomp has an ability Zygarde doesn't, and Garchomp loses out on some of the bulk that Zygarde 50 has, but Garchomp is a lot stronger, and he's 102, which just getting over that 100 is very good. So it felt really good with this top 2 in Garchomp and Zygarde. Or Garchomp and Zeraora, and it kind of was working to what I wanted to do, because I knew I wanted Mega Blastoise. Mega Blastoise, when I saw that thing in Tier 3, and I saw the votes come in, and everyone agreed to do points this season, I knew I had to get it. Tier 3 is stupid value for this thing. I personally believe it's a Tier 2 Mega. I hope to prove it wrong. I hope to prove that it is a Tier 2 Mega and it gets moved up like I moved up my Aldno. But Mega Blastoise is just insane. I mean, he's got 120 defense, 115 speed F, 135 special attack, and even his attack is good at 103. And his speed at 78, you get a rapid spin off, and he's actually kind of fast. And I want to make a Blastoise for a couple reasons. 1, good rapid spinner. 2, just super strong attack. Even uninvested, its attacks fucking hurt. And another reason was because as much as I love Empoleon, is one of, if not, it's up there with Grafaiai and Fernape as like my favorite mons. Those are like my top 3. And Empoleon, as much as I loved it last season and how good it is, its Steel typing is a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's good because you wall dragons, you come in on psychic moves, all this stuff, and then it's bad because you can't eat fire hits the same. I didn't really have a way to deal with fire types last season much at all. So that was a really big issue for my team. And just having a bulky water that can actually come in on fire types is very important to me. That's not to say I would never draft Empoleon again. I definitely had a great season with it. I loved it a lot. He even got access to Roost now from Legends Arceus, which is cool. But just changing up a bit, getting the bulky water, a great Mega. I can use his utility. I can use it as just a hazard removal, or I can bring Shell Smash some weeks and then just straight up just get a massive sweep off late game. Because again, his bulk is so good, those defense drops really don't matter that much. So this top 3 I was super, super happy with. And then this is, in my opinion, where the sussy part of my draft came in, because I drafted a lot of tier 3s in a row. And I was like, okay, if I get sniped from Bronzong to Miltank, I'm kind of fucked. So that's why, because it was so many like mid-tier mons, I was like, people might start looking at them. I could get sniped. I already got sniped on Zygarde, so I really, the plan was always to go in this order, but I was really nervous about getting sniped, and I'm glad I didn't. Next up, we got Bronzong. Bronzong is sick. Just a steel type with essentially 2 immunities, or an immunity and getting rid of a weakness and fireproof and levitate. Just super good. My team is on the faster side right now. I have Zeraora and Garchomp are pretty fast, and then Blastoise 78, not the fastest, but Bronzong just gives me a super slow wall, which is good. It's always good to have those slower mons. It gives me access to things like Trick Room. It gives me another Stealth Rocker besides Garchomp. And just a really good wall in general. Just having a ground immunity for Zeraora is really nice. And with some of the other Pokemon I have later on, it pairs really nicely having a 4 times resistance to Psychic moves. And Bronzong also gives me a screener. So I can set up screens with Light Clay, which is good. Because again, with how bulky my team is, screens are going to be pretty good. I can definitely see myself bringing screens a decent amount this season. Like season 1 almost. So, gotta have Bronzong. He's one of my favorite Gen 4 mons. Just, he's super cool. But another one of my... Roserade is one of my favorites. When I think of my favorites, it's like Empoleon, Grafaiai, Infernape, Victini, and then Roserade is like top 5 right with them, man. Roserade is so sick. Roserade is just... It hits so hard. It has a good speed tier at 90, so it's not too fast. It's not too slow. Natural Cure, super good. Poison Point, I think it's Poison Point, right? Poison Point, not the greatest, but Technician is what I love. Basically, just having Stab on whatever Hidden Power you want to run is so good. Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power Fire. It's just so good. It gets Toxic Spikes and Spikes, which you can start to see is kind of a theme of this team. Hazards, get them up. Past 2 seasons, I've only had Stealth Rocks as my only hazard setting options. This season, we're getting there, bro. I have 2 of the best spike users, in my opinion, in Garchomp and Roserade. And they're fast, because most spikers are slow or they're super frail. Like, Garbodor's a good one, but he's super slow. Aselgor's another really good one that Chase got, but he's super frail, so you often like lead him with like a sash just to get up like 2 layers of spikes. But Roserade and Chomp, they're fast enough to where they will outspeed a decent amount of things, but they're also bulky enough to where they can live a hit, and they're also offensive enough to where like I can have like a Roserade in front of a grass type, and then if they're scared of the Sludge Bomb, they switch out. I get a free layer of spikes or toxic spikes up. So that is kind of what I was looking for this season. Just being able to pressure people besides rocks. I think that was kind of like my biggest issue in previous seasons, was just having stealth rocks. But now having access to spikes and toxic spikes, very good, very cool. Love Roserade. Uh, Very excited to use it. The next up, we got Enemy of the State, number one threat of last season, Comfey. Comfey is an interesting mon. Yes, I did get buzzed by it last week or last season by Tanner, but playoffs I proved that it's not the threat that it is really. But Comfey is just good. It gives me another hazard remover besides Blastoise. It gives me a defogger now, which is cool. And just having decent bulk with priority healing is super cool. And Pure Fairy is a great typing. Um, it's just a really, really solid mon, and it's what you need out of a tier 3, right? It's not gonna be the best mon, but it's not gonna be the worst mon. I'll probably bring Comfey to a lot of my team, like a lot of my weeks, just because it's good, and it kind of alleviates Blastoise of the spinning duty. But again, since rapid speed increases your speed now, it's not the worst, but Comfey is good. It's a good revenge killer. It's a good setup sweeper with Calm Mind. And just, people were having issues with it last season. It got moved up from tier 4 to tier 3. I felt pretty confident in using it, and I like it a lot. So, brought Comfey over to our team. If you can't beat him, join him. I mean, I did beat it eventually, but that's besides the point. I love Comfey. Definitely one of the cooler mons that came out of Sun and Moon. So, love Comfey. And on to the next boy, we got our boy Miltank. Miltank was the glue to the... I was so scared of Miltank getting sniped, because Miltank really glues his team together so well. Miltank gets Scrappy, and it gets Sap Sipper, which is cool. Sap Sipper is a little bit more niche, but just having a grass immunity for Blastoise is cool, but I have Bronzong and Roserade, so it's like not the biggest deal. But again, some weeks I could see myself bringing it. But the big one is Thick Fat. Thick Fat allows for Garchomp and Bronzong to have another wall. Blastoise also does that job because he resists the fire and the ice that Garchomp and Bronzong don't want. But having just a general wall that isn't Blastoise, because the biggest issue with Mega Blastoise is that if you're using it defensively, it has no way to recover its own HP. And as you see on my team, I usually have a Wish Passer on my teams. I had it Season 1 with Florges, and then Season 2 I had Mega Audino. This season I don't have that. So Mega Blastoise, if he gets chipped, he's just getting chipped, and there's not much I can do about it. But that's why I thought it was so important for me to get Miltank, because it's the glue. It gives me another great stealth rocker behind Bronzong and Garchomp. Just super bulky, and the Thick Fat is what I needed. Fighting types, I mean, I don't have like the greatest answers on my team for them, but I also don't think I'm like weak. I'm not like weak to them, but I don't have like the greatest answers. But I care more about just the way it just brings my core together defensively. I really liked, and again, just another great stealth rocker. Miltank, in my opinion, is probably the best tier 4 mon in draft. There's some other ones that are really good, but Miltank, I personally love a lot. Chris had it Season 1, no one got it Season 2, so I was like, it's about my turn to get it. And yeah, just the Thick Fat, super good. You can run like some cool sets with like counter and stuff, so love Miltank. Happy to have him on the squad. Next up, got my boy Gengar. Gengar was a weird one. I was actually planning on getting Gengar as my last pick overall, like, because my tier 2 didn't really matter in my opinion, but I got sniped on Incineroar, and my last pick, I had no idea who I wanted, so I was like, okay, I'll just save last pick for that, and then Incineroar I can decide between later, so it's like, let me get Gengar now. And I had two options. I could either get Mimikyu or I could get Garchomp. Or I could get Mimikyu or I could get Gengar. And I said Gengar, and then I was like, wait, hold on. Let me think about it. And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, why am I getting Gengar? Because I really like Mimikyu, but the difference for me was the speed and the special attack. Yes, Mimikyu has the best ability in Pokemon, hands down, just no contesting it, really. But Gengar got access to Toxic Spikes this gen, so it gives me another Toxic Spike setter that's fast. It gives me some great utility options with shit like Destiny Bond, Will-O-Wisp, and his offensive presence, need I say more? Just a great Scarf user, a great Specs user. You can trick it off. You can even give it Black Sludge some weeks because you might not need a Life Orb or Expert Belt or something. But Gengar, super solid. It gives me another relatively fast mon at 110. So my speed tiers aren't something super crazy like last season, but they're still pretty solid. And Gengar gives me another super strong special attacker alongside Roserade and Blastoise. So I was like, you know what? I like it. Ghost types are good. While Gengar is super frail, if I get predictions right, it can give me something for the fighting types. So like, fuck it, let's do it. And yeah, it's another poison. It's the only double typing I have on my team. It doubles up on the poison, but I have Bronzong that 4 times resists Psychic, and I mean, poison in my opinion isn't. It's a secondary typing, right? It's not like I'm getting like Garbodor and like Weezing, you know what I mean? So I like it. I like Gengar a lot. He's always slept on in drafts for some reason. I don't know why. But again, I like him. He's cool. Excited to use him. I've never really used Gengar before. I mean, maybe back in like Gen 6 or something, but it's been so long since I've used Gengar, so we're gonna use a boy, and we're gonna do Chase Proud. That's what we're gonna do. Next up is our boy Magmortar. Again, I wanted Incineroar because I wanted the dark typing for Gengar and Bronzong, so I could have a Ghost resist. Because I value Ghost. Ghost. When I think of the two most broken typings in Pokemon, it's like Fairy and Ghost. Steel, you can argue over Ghost, but Ghost is just a super broken typing. And that's why I wanted Incineroar, didn't get him. So next up in Tier 4 on the list, it was between normal Typhlosion and Magmortar. I really did think about normal Typhlosion, but Magmortar hits a lot harder, doesn't rely on Eruption for its damage. And it can be mixed attacker. It has 125 special attack, 95 attack, and speed tier 83. Again, my team's not the fastest, but I have a lot of like weird speed tiers. Like Blastoise is 78, Magmortar's 83, Roserade's 90, and then my walls are deceptively fast. Miltank and Comfey are both base 100. Which means if those two are in and your walls are in, I'm probably outspeeding you. There's not like the only thing that comes to mind immediately is like Screamtail. So I was pretty happy with Magmortar. Again, super good special attacker. Pretty much just gonna bring like Specs, Fire Blast, or like Life Orb. And then I can do some cool sets with it. I can do like Flame Body with like Will-O-Wisp. I can do a taunt set. I mean, hey, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm gonna look to bring the belly drum set one week. I'm telling y'all, I'm bringing belly drum one time this season. I don't know against who yet, but I really want to bring that belly drum set once this season. So look out for that. Yeah, just super cool mon. If you get a flame charge up, he's pretty fast. He's also a great Scarfer, so I like Magmortar. He's another one of my favorite Gen 4 mons. Getting a lot of my favorites in here, so I enjoy him a lot. He's my GOAT. And last up, we technically drafted Regirock. I got Regirock because if I got Zygarde, I would be down another Stealth Rock setter. And I was like, you know what? let's get Regirock for Stealth Rocks, but of course, Zygarde got sniped. So I was like, okay, I'll just draft Regirock anyways because we have the grace period, so it doesn't really matter, and I don't want to waste people's time during the draft night. So I was like, you know what? Get Regirock and then I'll think about it. There's a couple other Pokemon I was looking at. I was looking at normal Articuno, Leavanny, Shuckle, which I technically drafted last season, I just never used, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to use it this season again, so I was like, let's just not do that again. And then I was looking at Hariyama and Hitmonchan. Those are like the 5 I was looking at. And I really thought about it. I was like, okay, I want Hariyama because the bulk is sick, and it gives me another thick fat user, it gives me guts user, sheer force, never a bad thing. But the thing that set me apart with Hitmonchan was 2 things. One, rapid spin. Now my team's not weak to, the only thing on my team that's weak to hazards is Magmortar, but just not having to worry about hazards is such an important thing in Pokemon. And Blastoise and Comfey are like 2 of the best hazard removers. They're really good. And I was like, you know what, Hitmonchan, rapid spin, decent speed stat. If I can get +1 speed, it can hurt. And also just the priority. Iron Fist, Mach Punch with like the elemental punches is super good on this thing. And again, like just Mach Punch in general, like, well, I think it has like 120 attack or something. Let's see. Oh, it's not, okay, it's 105. It's a lot worse than I thought. But again, Hitmonchan isn't meant to be the big sweeper guy, right? He comes in, gets his chip damage off, maybe gets rid of Stealth Rocks, and then he goes down. So, I like Hitmonchan. I had I had Hitmon top the past 2 seasons. Had to get me another Hitmon in there. I love the Hitmons. They're like the best evolution line. I love them. So yeah, that's the squad. Let me go over nicknames. So we have R34 for Zeraora. We have all lowercase 1 word Shark Dude for Garchomp. We have Squirter for Mega Blastoise. We have Liberty for Bronzong. Phantom for Roserade. If you get the reference, good on you. Luau for Comfey. We got Low Fat, the Milk Tank. Sinful, the Gengar. Big Poppy, the Magmortar, and we got Balboa, the Hitmonchan. I'm really representing Philadelphia this season, man. I might not be the Philadelphia Flygons no more, but hell, we got Rocky Balboa and the Liberty Bell on the same team, man. This is the most Philly team you could ever draft. And okay, and then one last thing, my Terrestrialized captain. It was going to be Ground Zygarde if I got it. Again, just adaptability on 1,000 Waves or 1,000 Arrows would have been sick. But, again, got sniped on it. Not much I can do. So, next best thing, in my opinion, was Garchomp. And I was thinking about it. I was like, do I want Garchomp to be my... Because I was like, I could do Grass Comfey just so I can have Stab Giga Drain. I can do Ghost Gengar just for adaptability Shadow Balls. I even thought about Water Zeraora just so I could have like a stronger water move that wasn't Hidden Power. But I was like, you know what? He gets Grass Knot. He already gets Hidden Power. Again, Zeraora is very plug and play. So it's like, let's not help Zeraora anymore. He's already pretty solid in his own right. So I was like, Garchomp. I already have a lot of team support with Bronzong, Miltank, and Blastoise to eat up the ice moves. Even Magmortar can. But I was like, you know what? Garchomp also fears the fairies. And dragons are always going to be good against dragons. So I was like, you know what? Let me get Steel. Steel, I resist fairy, I resist dragon, I resist ice, which are like his big 3 weaknesses. And having Stab Iron Head is super cool. The only sucky thing is that Iron Head is 80 base power, which it's the same as Terra Blast, so it doesn't matter too much, but it gives me that 30% flinch chance, which is always good. And yeah, Steel Garchomp, I'm excited for it. I already used up Grace Period, you had infinite trades and stuff. I could get a completely different team if I really wanted to, but Really, the only change I wanted to make was the Regirock for Hitmonchan, which we did. So yeah, this is the team for Season 3. I'm very excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, hopefully there's 14 games. We play our division rivals 6 of the 14, so hopefully we can win out our division and get the playoffs. So yeah, goal is always to win the chip. And this team, I like it a lot. I do. Obviously, I did a lot of my practice matches with Zygarde 50, so a little catching up to do with Garchomp, but rough skin, rocky helmet's never a bad thing. And again, sorry. The spikes. There's a lot of hazards on this team. I have 2 poison types that can absorb toxic spikes if you want to bring them against me. And yeah, very happy with this team. Pretty much everything I wanted. I got sniped 3 times, but the last 2 didn't matter that much. It was really just a Zygarde snipe that stung a lot. But yeah, very excited for this team. Very excited for Big Juicy to get started next weekend. And yeah, we're gonna get out of here. That is with formerly the Philadelphia Flygons, now the West Side Graffi Eyes. Gonna be bringing home the chip. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see y'all later.